Building a website or an app is different than building a business. It's like you want to start a retail supermarket and you think that simply hiring a contractor, a real estate contractor, will be enough. That's only the first stepping stone, and in my opinion, that's not even a good start unless you are technical or are experienced yourself. Now, what I mean by experience is that you have actually built products in the past that are successfully used by consumers. If not, whatever experience you have is not enough. For example, in the construction field, the first person you want to hire is a liaison consultant who will make sure you have all the regulations, licensing, and fundamentals in place. And the second person you want to hire is an architect. You can't just hire a contractor directly and expect him or her to do the entire construction, because the contractor only does what has been designed and instructed by the architect. What's even worse is when some people think that just hiring a developer for under 5K or something will get the job done. You can't start a business by thinking like that. It's like in the supermarket store example, hiring directly a contractor without the liaison consultant or the architect wasn't a big enough mistake. You're going way further by hiring a mason directly. Well, yeah, that's the guy who does all the messy work done, but is he or she enough to get you the entire store built? If building businesses were this straightforward, we would have had millions of Airbnbs, Amazons, Ubers running today, but we don't. Especially if you're a non-technical founder yourself, don't do this mistake. We can't even buy a decent used car for under 5K, can we? And that's for our personal use. Then how is it possible that even after outsourcing, you can build your online business or a startup for any less by simply working with random developers or development agencies, when the fact is that this business that you are creating is going to be used by your target audience, some other people, not just yourself. Now, if you're thinking that you know everything required to actually build the entire business, for example, if you're very clear on your MVP scope, your scope of your minimum viable product, what features you will cover, what features should be covered. For example, there are many features that you should not be covering. Many features that you like, but your consumers might not like. Many features are already there with the competition, for example. So how are you differentiating yourself? That's very important. And if you're not doing that, then what's your go-to-market strategy? Say, for example, if you think that you have the same kind of product, then you must be having some different target segment, for example, or you must be having a different go-to-market strategy where your competition is not penetrating the way that you are planning. There are many things, and in this if you're thinking that this is really required after the product is developed, no. Go-to-market strategy is something that you will need before you even start building anything with respect to your product. And when you talk about tech stack, you're also talking about the system scalability, for example, your system architecture, your test automation for immediate scale, load integration, your stress testing, for example, your speed optimization to make sure your system or the app doesn't crash when you have concurrent load. Many people who are using your app at the same time, you want to make sure the entire architecture still sticks together and delivers the result. So if you think that you know all of this, you can manage this by yourself, you are technical, you have done this before, and you have seen some success by having all of these things talk to each other, for example, flawlessly, then you should definitely go ahead and hire a development agency, not just a developer. Remember, a development agency who can follow your instructions and who can simply implement what you are asking them to implement. because they'll not be able to figure out what to implement. That's a different story. But the big question is, are you sure you are on the right track? Have you actually done this in the past, and have you seen any success in terms of user metrics? That's a big question. If not, then it's not advisable to invest your hard-earned money building something that you are not sure is going to be liked by your target audience. You want to make sure your investment pays back. The money that you're putting into development right now, pays back in terms of either you getting some funding, for example, you getting some traction, some revenue, your users paying you back through subscription or whatever your business model is. That is very important, and that's where the entire magic happens, and that's something that nobody can really be sure whether what you're planning right now will definitely work or not. And that's why working with a team of experts who have been there, done that, who have seen this entire mechanism working together is very, very important. Now, hiring a startup consultant for liaison, design studio for UI UX, tech agency for the development, DevOps team for the deployment, and tech for support. All of this can be very costly and expensive, and usually can go beyond your seat budget. And this is exactly where we can help. Since over the last 16 years, StartupGuru and NCrypted have helped and worked with hundreds of early stage startups into building products that scale and make an impact. Our agile and lean models used into building startups were brought into practice way before those terms became mainstream. We have proven models and methods to help you go from idea to product, launch your first customers, and funding in record time and cost. So go ahead and schedule a call with one of our startup and venture advisor. It could be me, or it could be some other domain expert from our team, depending upon what kind of business model you have. We'll try to understand what problem you are trying to solve and see if we can leverage our expertise, know-how, and network to help and work with you to get you from the idea stage to product, launch, first customers, and go to market with confidence. Thank you.